Hi everyone, thanks for making the time. So look at your phone for a second. We all have this device that runs our lives, right? And we hear about cybercrime all the time. But usually when we picture a scammer, we're picturing some lone wolf in a dark hoodie typing furiously in a basement, trying to guess your password. I want to change that image today. What we're actually dealing with is not a person, it's a machine. It is a global industrial scale economy. This is the Scammer's Playbook, and today we're going to look at exactly how our data fuels this machine and how we can shut it off. See, a modern scam isn't a random event, it's a supply chain. It operates exactly like a legitimate business like Ford or Apple. It has departments, specialized roles, and supply lines. It works in three distinct stages. First, you have the harvest. This is where the raw materials, your data, are scraped up in bulk. Then that raw material goes to the factory. This is literal infrastructure built to turn that data into attacks on a massive scale. And finally, you have the heist. This is where the sophisticated actors, sometimes even governments, step in to weaponize those attacks for money and power. But remember, this whole massive global chain, it all starts with one tiny thing, a single piece of your data. Let's talk about the scale of the harvest. Take a look at this number. 3.5 billion. That is how many WhatsApp accounts were exposed recently. And the scary part isn't just the number, it's how simple the flaw was. We aren't talking about a Mission Impossible heist here, where someone rappelled down an elevator shaft to steal a server. This was a logic flaw. It's about exposure. When 3.5 billion accounts are exposed, the supply chain is flooded with raw material. So how did they actually get that data? Like I said, no hacking required. Here is the step-by-step of the harvest. First, the scammers just generated a massive list of phone numbers. We're talking 63 billion combinations, just a spreadsheet of numbers. Then they went to WhatsApp servers and basically knocked on the door. They queried the servers asking, hey, is this number an active user? Now, normally a server would stop you after a few tries, but WhatsApp had a flaw. No rate limits. It was like a nightclub with no bouncer. Everyone just rushed in. They could check 100 million numbers an hour from a single computer. And for every, yes, this is a user, they scraped everything. The name, the profile picture, and the about text. Just like that, they built a database of real humans. Now, you might be thinking, so what? They have my profile pic and my name. Big deal. But in this economy, your profile is a gold mine. First, credibility. If I text you pretending to be your boss and I have his actual profile photo and his actual bio, you are 10 times more likely to believe me. Second, identity theft. With AI now, one photo is enough to run facial recognition to find your other social accounts, or worse, create a deepfake video of you. And third, targeting. That about text. It tells them who you are. Researchers found government and military employees putting their official titles in their WhatsApp bios. That is exactly how spear phishing campaigns start. Okay, so they have the data. Now we move to step 2, the fraud factory. This is where it gets physical. This isn't just code anymore. This is hardware. Meet the SIM farm. This is the engine of modern fraud. If you look at the image, that looks like a server rack, right? But those little slots aren't for hard drives. They are for SIM cards, thousands of them. These devices allow criminals to automate text messages. They're often hidden in plain sight, rented apartments, legitimate-looking data centers, or even wired into the trunks of cars driving around your city. Why do they use SIM farms? Simple economics. It is a criminal's dream business model. First, the investment is low. They buy cheap, unlimited texting plans, maybe $6 or $7 a month for a SIM, but the volume? A farm with 100,000 SIM cards can pump out 150 million texts a month. And the return? Even if almost everyone ignores the scam, let's say they have a tiny 0.05% engagement rate, they can still net over $10 million a year. And the punchline? We can't stop it easily. If a telecom provider blocks one SIM card, the machine just rotates to the next one in the rack. It's a game of whack-a-mole where the mole has 100,000 heads. So what is this factory actually producing? It's not just those annoying spam texts about extended car warranties. It's much more dangerous. They're producing mass smishing, those "Hi Mum, I'm in trouble" texts, or fake bank alerts. They're creating fake accounts at scale, millions of bots to influence social media. They're bypassing 2FA, those codes you get via text. These farms can rent out numbers to intercept those codes. And scariest of all, critical infrastructure threats. If you have enough of these farms, you can launch the DDoS attack on a local cell tower and literally jam the 911 network of a city. They call it a tactical digital blackout. Now we arrive at the final stage, the heist. This is where the data and the infrastructure get weaponized by the big players. And by big players, I mean nation-states. We're talking about cybercrime as foreign policy. The group you see here, the Lazarus group, is a state-sponsored hacking unit out of North Korea. Why are they doing this? To bypass sanctions. They're stealing money to fund weapons programs. The UN estimates they've stolen $3 billion in just a few years. This isn't just theft, it's funding a nuclear program. The scale of these heists is staggering. Just look at 2025. Over $2 billion stolen from crypto services alone. Look at that spike for Axie Infinity, $620 million in one go. These aren't teenagers defacing websites. These are highly coordinated financial strikes using the very data harvested in Step 1 to infiltrate these systems. But here is the most fascinating and terrifying scheme they are running right now. It's called the fake IT worker scheme. This is the enemy inside the gates. Here is how it works. Step 1. They steal an identity, a real US identity. Step 2. They apply for a remote IT job. They use AI deepfakes to pass the video interview. There was a case where a Mexican applicant literally couldn't speak Spanish because he was actually a North Korean operative using a voice changer. Step 3. They get hired. Fortune 500 companies are hiring these guys. Step 4. The company sends a laptop. It goes to a laptop farm, here in the US, a middleman, who plugs it in and gives remote access to the operative in North Korea. Think about the implications of that. You have a North Korean operative on your internal payroll. They're collecting a salary, which is laundered and sent back to the regime to build missiles, but worse, they're inside your network. They're conducting corporate espionage, stealing source code, stealing US military technology, and they're planting backdoors. So even if you fire them, they've left the digital key under the mat for a ransomware attack later. It's a perfect storm of insider threats. Okay, take a breath. That was the scary part. We've seen their playbook. We know how they harvest, we know how the factory works, and we know what the heist looks like. But the good news is, knowing their playbook means we can write our own. We're going to switch gears now. The rest of this time is about your defense. Simple, actionable steps to break this chain. The first step is to devalue your data. We need to stop treating our phone number like it's public info and start treating it like a password. Go into your WhatsApp, go into your LinkedIn and Facebook, change your profile pic and about info to contacts only. If they can't scrape your profile in your bio, you become useless to the scrapers. You're not credible bait anymore. Also, monitor for breaches. You need to know if your number is out there so you can be on high alert. Step 2 is to recognize the scam. Scams rely on psychology, not just technology. They have tells. First, urgency and fear. If a message makes you panic, like your account is locked or pay this fee now, freeze. That is a manipulation tactic designed to bypass your critical thinking. Second, emotional bait. Hi, Mom, I'm in trouble. They tug at your heartstrings. And look for the technical signs. Suspicious links, shortened URLs, or a company asking for info they should already have. If Netflix texts you asking for your password, it's not Netflix. But hey, we're all human. Sometimes we're not sure. That's why you need a secret weapon. Use AI to fight AI. There are free tools out there now like Bitdefender Scamio. If you get a weird text about a package delivery fee, don't guess, take a screenshot, upload it to the AI, and let it analyze it. It's like having a cybersecurity expert in your pocket. It gives you a second opinion instantly. Safe or scam? Verify before you verify. Now we need to talk about the single most important technical step you can take. We need to kill SMS 2FA. We just talked about SIM farms. We know criminals can intercept text messages. So why are we still protecting our bank accounts with text messages? It is the weakest link in the chain. If you're relying on SMS for security, you're relying on a system that is fundamentally broken. So here is your ladder. I want everyone to move up one rung today. At the bottom is SMS. It's better than nothing, but it's vulnerable. Step up to authenticator apps. Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator. These generate codes on your device, not over the network. A SIM farm cannot intercept these. But if you want to be bulletproof, go to the top. Hardware keys. A YubiKey or a passkey. This requires a physical action. A hacker in North Korea cannot press a button on a USB stick plugged into your laptop in Chicago. It is phishing resistant. So let's boil this down. Here is your defense playbook. 3 rules. Rule 1, minimize your data. Lock down those profiles. Make yourself a ghost to the scrapers. Rule 2, verify everything. Be skeptical. Use AI tools to check incoming messages. And rule 3, secure your accounts. Ditch SMS. Move to an app or a key. Make your phone number irrelevant to your security.
And this brings us to the end. The playbook is in your hands now. We talked about the supply chain, harvest, factory, heist. It looks unstoppable, but it's fragile. It relies on that first link. It relies on your data being easy to grab and your accounts being easy to breach. By doing these small things, locking your profile, using an authenticator app, you aren't just protecting yourself. You are breaking the supply chain. You are starving the factory. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay secure. Your digital life is worth protecting. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with friends and family, and subscribe for more tips on navigating the digital world safely. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.